Have you ever felt overwhelmed by what others think of you? Or found yourself comparing your life to someone else's? These feelings are more common than you might think. In a world filled with social media, it's easy to lose sight of who we truly are and what we really want. But what if the key to happiness lies not in focusing on others, but in turning that attention inward? Can we find peace and fulfillment by embracing our own journey rather than measuring ourselves against someone else's standards? Imagine a busy street where everyone is rushing around, trying to keep up with one another. You see people hurrying to get to their destinations, and it feels chaotic. In that moment, picture yourself stopping, taking a deep breath, and simply observing. This simple act can transform your perspective. It's a reminder that life isn't just about competition. It's about personal growth and self-discovery. Welcome to Wisdom Woven. In this channel, we explore profound insights rooted in Buddhism that guide us toward a more fulfilling life. Today, we delve into the importance of focusing on ourselves rather than getting caught up in the lives of others. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Before we dive deeper, I want to share something important. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue bringing valuable content to you, and together we can grow in this journey of self-discovery and mindfulness. Now, let's explore the idea of focusing on ourselves and uncover the treasures that lie within. Buddhist teachings on self-awareness. As a Zen master, I often meet people who are lost, not physically, but emotionally and mentally. They are trapped in the never-ending cycle of looking outside themselves for happiness, meaning, and validation. But what if I told you that everything you need to know, everything that will make you truly happy, is already within you? This is where the teachings of Buddhism on self-awareness come into play. The path to inner peace doesn't come from outside, but from knowing yourself deeply. Self-awareness is the practice of observing your own thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment. It's like standing in front of a mirror, but instead of seeing your face, you see your mind and heart. Many people are afraid of this mirror because they fear what they might see: insecurities, flaws, or regrets. But the truth is, only by looking inward can we begin to change and grow. In Buddhism, we learn that the mind is like a clear pond, but over time, distractions, stress, and worries cause ripples, making it hard to see what's below the surface. If we want to understand ourselves, we need to let the pond settle. Only then can we see the truth beneath the water. This truth is self-awareness. And through this awareness, we begin to notice patterns, our reactions to certain situations, our emotional triggers, and even our habits. A big part of self-awareness is recognizing the impermanence of everything. Everything in life is constantly changing: our thoughts, feelings, and circumstances. Many of us cling to things, whether it's our past, our mistakes, or our hopes for the future. But when we cling, we suffer. A key teaching in Buddhism is learning to let go of this attachment and accept the impermanence of life. When we become aware of this truth, we begin to let go of the things that hold us back. One simple exercise to develop self-awareness is mindfulness meditation. It's the practice of sitting quietly and observing your breath. You don't try to change your breathing, you just notice it. When thoughts arise, you don't judge them or try to push them away. Instead, you acknowledge them and let them pass, like clouds drifting across the sky. This practice helps us become more aware of the present moment and of ourselves. You may wonder, why is self-awareness so important? Well, it's because self-awareness is the foundation of everything else in life. How can you make the right decisions if you don't know yourself? How can you be truly happy if you're not aware of what makes you happy or unhappy? When we lack self-awareness, we live on autopilot, reacting to situations without understanding why we react the way we do. Self-awareness is also key to understanding others. In Buddhism, there is a saying, "You cannot understand others until you understand yourself." When you are aware of your own emotions and thoughts, you can better understand why others act the way they do. You become more compassionate and less judgmental. When someone upsets you, instead of reacting with anger, you can pause and reflect on why you feel that way. This pause allows you to respond with kindness rather than reacting impulsively. A lot of people believe that focusing on themselves is selfish, but in Buddhism, We learn that focusing on ourselves is the first step toward helping others. When you know yourself, you are better equipped to help those around you. You become a calm presence in the storm, someone others can rely on. Self-awareness allows us to act from a place of inner strength rather than reacting out of fear or confusion. As we go deeper into Buddhist teachings on self-awareness, one concept that stands out is the idea of the self itself. Buddhism teaches that the self, as we know, it is an illusion. We often think of ourselves as solid, unchanging beings. But in reality, we are constantly changing. Our thoughts, emotions, and even our physical bodies are in a state of constant flux. Understanding this helps us detach from the idea that we are fixed, unchangeable people. Instead, we see that we have the power to grow and evolve. One of the biggest obstacles to self-awareness is distraction. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with information, noise, and other people's opinions. It's easy to lose ourselves in this chaos. But self-awareness requires us to take a step back from the noise and reconnect with our inner selves. It's about creating space for reflection, where we can listen to our own thoughts and feelings without being influenced by the outside world. Another important aspect of self-awareness is being kind to yourself. Many people, when they begin this journey, are shocked by what they find. They see their flaws, their fears, and their mistakes. But self-awareness isn't about judging or criticizing yourself. It's about accepting yourself as you are, with all your imperfections. In Buddhism, we practice self-compassion, treating ourselves with the same kindness we would offer to a dear friend. When we approach self-awareness with compassion, we create a safe space for growth and healing. As you begin to practice self-awareness, you may notice certain patterns in your thoughts and behavior. For example, you might realize that you tend to get angry when you feel ignored, or that you withdraw when you're stressed. These insights are valuable because they help you understand your triggers and work on them. Instead of being controlled by your emotions, you start to take control of them. In Buddhism, self-awareness is not just a practice, it's a way of life. It's about being fully present in each moment and paying attention to how we respond to the world around us. This awareness helps us break free from the habits and thought patterns that cause suffering. It allows us to live more mindfully, with a deeper sense of peace and purpose. Ultimately, self-awareness is the key to personal growth and transformation. When we become aware of who we are and why we do what we do, we can make conscious choices that lead to a happier, more fulfilling life. It's like waking up from a dream and seeing the world and ourselves clearly for the first time. So, take a moment to pause. Look within. What do you see? What do you feel? This is the beginning of your journey towards self-awareness. And as you continue on this path, remember that every step you take brings you closer to understanding yourself, and through that understanding, closer to true peace. Detachment from external opinions. In our lives, we often find ourselves caught in a web of others' opinions. It's as if we are marionettes, dancing to the strings of judgment and expectation. We seek approval from friends, family, and society, allowing their views to shape our self-worth. But what if we could cut those strings and discover the freedom that comes from detaching ourselves from external opinions? Imagine waking up each day, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face, and knowing that your value comes from within. You are not defined by how many likes you get on social media or what others think of your choices. This is the essence of detachment. It's not about becoming indifferent or uncaring. Rather, it's about understanding that your happiness is not dependent on others' perceptions. Buddhism teaches us that attachment is a source of suffering. When we cling to the opinions of others, we tie our happiness to their whims. If someone praises us, we feel elated. But if they criticize us, our mood plummets. This roller coaster of emotions can drain our energy and cloud our judgment. By practicing detachment, we learn to find joy in our own existence, independent of external validation. To begin this journey, we must first cultivate self-awareness. Take a moment to reflect on your reactions to others' opinions. Do you feel anxious when someone disagrees with you? Do you change your behavior to please others? Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward breaking free. Start by observing your thoughts without judgment. Acknowledge how much weight you place on what others think, and gently remind yourself that their opinions do not define you. Next, embrace mindfulness. Spend time in quiet reflection or meditation, focusing on your breath. As you inhale and exhale, imagine releasing the need for approval. Picture your thoughts drifting away like leaves on a stream. This practice helps you understand that your true self lies beyond the judgments of others. You are a unique individual with your own thoughts, feelings, and desires, and that is something to celebrate. Consider the story of the lotus flower. It blooms beautifully in muddy waters, rising above the dirt and murkiness to reach the sunlight. This is a powerful metaphor for our lives. Just like the lotus, we can thrive despite the negativity and opinions surrounding us. By focusing on our own growth, we can blossom into the best version of ourselves, unaffected by the muck around us. Detachment also means learning to let go of the need for validation from others. We often seek approval to feel worthy, but true worthiness comes from within. Challenge yourself to celebrate your achievements, no matter how small, without waiting for someone else to recognize them. Acknowledge your efforts and progress. This self-affirmation nurtures your inner strength and resilience. As you begin to detach from external opinions, you may find yourself facing resistance. Friends or family might not understand your shift in focus. They may question your choices or express their concerns. This is a natural part of the process. Remind yourself that your journey is yours alone. You are not obligated to meet anyone else's expectations. In fact, by following your own path, you inspire others to do the same. Another powerful aspect of detachment is learning to accept criticism without taking it personally. When someone criticizes you, pause and reflect. Ask yourself if there is any truth to their words, or if it's simply a reflection of their perspective. By doing this, you can extract valuable insights while letting go of the emotional weight that comes with harsh words. This allows you to grow while remaining anchored in your self-worth. It's essential to surround yourself with positive influences. Seek out people who uplift and support you, rather than those who drain your energy with negativity. Engaging with those who encourage your growth will help reinforce your newfound focus on yourself. As you practice detachment, you will find that your confidence begins to grow. You will trust your instincts more and feel comfortable making decisions that resonate with your true self. This is a liberating experience, allowing you to step into your authenticity and embrace who you are without fear or hesitation. Detaching from external opinions is not a one-time effort. It's a continuous journey. It requires patience and practice. Embrace the process and be kind to yourself along the way. Celebrate your progress and remind yourself that you are on a path to deeper self-understanding and fulfillment. In conclusion, detaching from the opinions of others allows us to reclaim our power. By focusing on ourselves and nurturing our inner selves, we can live authentically and joyfully. Remember, your worth is inherent and not determined by others. As you embark on this journey of self-discovery, may you find the peace and happiness that comes from within, free from the burdens of external judgment. Cultivating mindfulness for self-improvement. In our fast-paced lives, we often rush from one task to another, barely taking a moment to pause and reflect. However, cultivating mindfulness can transform our daily experiences. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in each moment, aware of our thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment. It helps us connect with ourselves and understand what we truly need to grow. To begin this journey, start by taking a few moments each day to focus on your breath. Sit quietly in a comfortable position and close your eyes. Inhale deeply through your nose, allowing your abdomen to rise, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. Feel the air entering and leaving your body. With each breath, let go of distractions and worries. This simple exercise can ground you in the present, bringing clarity to your thoughts. As you become more aware of your breath, expand your mindfulness practice to your daily activities. Whether you're eating, walking, or even washing dishes, try to be fully present. Notice the colors, textures, and sensations around you. When you eat, savor each bite. Feel the warmth of the food, taste the flavors, and appreciate the nourishment it provides. This practice transforms mundane tasks into moments of joy and appreciation. Mindfulness also allows us to observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them. Often, we let negative thoughts control our emotions. When a critical thought arises, acknowledge it, but don't dwell on it. Imagine it as a cloud passing through the sky. Let it float away without affecting your inner peace. This awareness helps you recognize patterns in your thinking, paving the way for self-improvement. Another powerful aspect of mindfulness is its ability to enhance self-compassion. Many of us are our harshest critics, constantly comparing ourselves to others. Mindfulness teaches us to treat ourselves with kindness. When you notice feelings of inadequacy, pause and ask yourself, what would I say to a friend in this situation? Extend that same compassion to yourself. Embracing self-compassion helps us grow and learn without the weight of judgment. Incorporating mindfulness into your life also fosters resilience. Life will present challenges, and how we respond to them makes all the difference. Mindfulness helps us pause before reacting. Instead of immediately responding to a stressful situation, take a breath and assess your feelings. Ask yourself, what is the best response? This practice allows you to act thoughtfully rather than impulsively, promoting better outcomes. Additionally, mindfulness enhances our ability to listen. In conversations, we often think about our responses instead of truly hearing the other person. Mindfulness encourages us to be fully present when someone speaks. Focus on their words, tone, and body language. By doing this, you create deeper connections and show respect for their feelings. This practice strengthens relationships and fosters understanding. To cultivate mindfulness, consider incorporating meditation into your routine. Set aside a few minutes each day to sit quietly and focus on your breath. There are various meditation techniques you can explore, such as guided meditations or body scans. Find what resonates with you. Over time, this practice will enhance your ability to stay present and mindful throughout the day. Journaling can also be a valuable tool for mindfulness. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on your experiences. Write down moments of joy, gratitude, or challenges you faced. This practice allows you to process your thoughts and feelings, fostering self-awareness and personal growth. As you embrace mindfulness, remember that it is a journey, not a destination. There will be days when your mind wanders, or when you struggle to stay present. That's okay. Be gentle with yourself. Acknowledge these moments and return to your breath. With practice, mindfulness will become a natural part of your life. In summary, cultivating mindfulness is a powerful way to focus on yourself and your growth. By being present in each moment, you can connect with your true self, foster self-compassion, and build resilience. Embrace the journey, and you will discover the transformative power of mindfulness in your life. It's not about perfection. It's about progress and understanding yourself better each day. The role of meditation in self-discovery. In the tranquil embrace of silence, we find ourselves. Meditation, often regarded as a practice for relaxation, holds a deeper purpose. It serves as a bridge to self-discovery. Imagine standing on the shore, watching waves crash against the rocks. Each wave represents a thought or feeling. If we don't step back, we may drown in those waves. Meditation teaches us to observe these waves without getting swept away. When we sit in meditation, we create a sacred space within ourselves. It's a time to pause, to breathe, and to simply be. This stillness allows us to peel away the layers of our busy minds. With every breath, we let go of distractions and delve deeper into our essence. Here, we can truly meet ourselves, beyond the labels and expectations that society imposes on us. In Buddhism, mindfulness is essential. It encourages us to be present in each moment. This practice isn't about emptying the mind. Instead, it's about acknowledging our thoughts without judgment. Like clouds drifting across a clear blue sky, our thoughts will come and go. Recognizing them without getting attached is the essence of meditation. Have you ever noticed how often your mind races with worries about the future or regrets from the past? In meditation, we learn to anchor ourselves in the now. This is where life happens, and it's often filled with beauty and serenity. With each meditation session, we train our minds to focus on the present, allowing us to cultivate clarity and insight. As we explore our thoughts in meditation, we begin to understand our patterns and habits. Why do we react a certain way in certain situations? Why do we feel a specific emotion when faced with challenges? By observing these reactions, we can begin to unravel the threads of our conditioning. This awareness is the first step toward transformation. Meditation also fosters compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. We often hold ourselves to high standards, judging our actions and feelings harshly. But when we sit in meditation, we learn to treat ourselves with kindness. We realize that it's okay to have flaws and imperfections. Embracing ourselves as we are opens the door to true self-acceptance. Through this practice, we gain insight into our desires and aspirations. In the silence, we can hear our inner voice clearly. What do we truly want from life? What brings us joy? These questions are vital for our journey of self-discovery. The more we meditate, the more we align ourselves with our true purpose. Consider the lotus flower, which grows in muddy waters, yet blooms beautifully above the surface. This symbolizes our potential. Despite the challenges we face, we can rise above them and thrive. Meditation helps us connect with this potential, allowing us to navigate life's difficulties with grace and ease. Regular meditation practice cultivates a sense of inner peace. In a world that can feel chaotic and overwhelming, this peace becomes our refuge. It's like a gentle tide that washes away anxiety and fear, leaving behind calmness and clarity. When we return to this state of peace, we find it easier to focus on ourselves, leading us to personal growth and fulfillment. As we continue this journey of self-discovery through meditation, we may encounter resistance. Our minds may tell us we are not doing it right or that we don't have time. But these are merely distractions. The beauty of meditation lies in its simplicity. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's about showing up for ourselves, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Incorporating meditation into our daily routine doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths while sitting quietly for a moment. You can close your eyes, feel the air entering and leaving your body, and observe your surroundings. This practice grounds us and reminds us that we are alive in this moment. As we progress, we may find that our relationships with others also improve. The more we understand ourselves, the better we can understand those around us. We respond rather than react, bringing compassion and empathy into our interactions. This shift not only enhances our relationships, but also enriches our lives. In essence, meditation is a journey into the heart of who we are. It invites us to embrace our thoughts, feelings, and experiences with open arms. By practicing regularly, we nurture a deep connection with ourselves. This connection becomes the foundation for living a life filled with purpose and joy. So, as you embark on your meditation practice, remember that it's a gift to yourself. Each moment spent in stillness is an opportunity to learn and grow. Embrace this journey with an open heart and mind, and discover the beauty that lies within. Breaking free from social comparisons. In our daily lives, it's easy to look around and see what others are doing. We scroll through social media, watch our friends, and listen to their achievements. It can seem like everyone else is living a perfect life while we are struggling to keep up. This constant comparison can be exhausting and draining. But what if we could break free from this cycle and focus on our own journey instead? Imagine you are in a garden. Each flower is different. Some are tall, others are short, some bloom brightly, while others have soft, subtle colors. If every flower compared itself to the others, they would lose their unique beauty. They would forget that their worth comes not from being like the flowers around them, but from simply being themselves. The same is true for us as individuals. Each person has a unique path, and our value lies in our individuality. When we compare ourselves to others, we often focus on their strengths and ignore our own. Someone may be great at their job, while another excels in sports, and yet another might have a talent for music. Instead of celebrating these differences, we might feel inadequate because we are not like them. This can create a cycle of negativity that prevents us from recognizing our strengths and gifts. Buddhism teaches us the importance of self-acceptance. We are encouraged to embrace who we are, without judgment. This means recognizing our talents and skills, no matter how small they may seem. When we focus on ourselves, we can appreciate our unique contributions to the world. This self-awareness fosters a sense of inner peace and contentment. One way to break free from social comparisons is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment, without judgment. When we are mindful, we can observe our thoughts and feelings without getting lost in them. For example, when you feel the urge to compare yourself to someone else, pause and take a deep breath. Notice how that comparison makes you feel. Acknowledge it, but don't let it define you. Instead, Redirect your focus to your own strengths and achievements. Another powerful tool is gratitude. Practicing gratitude allows us to shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. Each day, take a moment to reflect on the things you appreciate about yourself. Perhaps you are kind to others, work hard, or have a good sense of humor. Write these down and revisit them often. This simple practice can help reinforce your self-worth and diminish the desire to compare yourself to others. Building a supportive environment is also crucial. Surround yourself with people who uplift you and encourage your personal growth. When you are with those who celebrate your journey, it becomes easier to focus on yourself and your progress. Seek friendships that inspire you, and let go of relationships that foster negativity or unhealthy competition. It's important to understand that everyone is on their own journey. Just because someone else is achieving something you desire doesn't mean you are less worthy. We all have our timelines, and each step we take is part of our unique story. Embracing this truth can bring freedom from the pressure to measure up to others. Reflect on the idea of balance. Life is about finding harmony between striving for improvement and appreciating where you are now. While it's good to have goals, we should not let the pursuit of them overshadow our present experiences. Focus on enjoying the journey rather than fixating on the destination. Each small step forward is significant, even if it doesn't seem impressive in comparison to someone else's leaps. To truly break free from social comparisons, we must cultivate self-compassion. This means treating ourselves with kindness, just as we would treat a friend. When you make a mistake or feel inadequate, remind yourself that it's okay to be human. Everyone faces challenges, and no one is perfect. Practice speaking to yourself gently, acknowledging your feelings without harsh judgment. In Buddhism, we often talk about the concept of non-attachment. This doesn't mean we should detach ourselves from life, but rather from the need to compare and compete. When we let go of the desire to measure our worth against others, we can fully engage with our own lives. We can appreciate our unique journey without the shadow of comparison hanging over us. Finally, take a moment to visualize your life without comparisons. Picture yourself living authentically, free from the weight of others' expectations. Imagine the joy and peace that come from focusing solely on your path. This vision can be a powerful motivator to shift your mindset. By breaking free from social comparisons, you allow yourself to flourish. You will find that the more you focus on yourself, the more you grow, learn, and discover your true potential. Each of us has a unique light to share with the world. It's time to nurture that light and let it shine brightly, unfiltered by the comparisons we often feel compelled to make. Embrace your journey, celebrate your progress, and remember that you are enough just as you are. Overcoming the ego. A Buddhist perspective. The ego. It's something that all of us have, yet many of us don't even realize it's there, shaping the way we see the world and ourselves. The ego is the I that feels separate from everything else. It's the part of us that craves recognition, desires control, and seeks approval from others. But here's the truth. This ego often stands in the way of our happiness. As a Zen master, I want to talk to you about the ego and how, through Buddhist wisdom, we can overcome it to live more peacefully and freely. Let's begin by asking, what exactly is the ego? The ego is like a lens that makes everything about me and mine. It pushes us to identify with our thoughts, our opinions, and even our material possessions. When someone praises us, the ego feels proud. When someone criticizes us, the ego feels wounded. The ego constantly seeks validation from others, and it's never truly satisfied. Buddhism teaches us that the ego is not our true self. Our true self is something deeper, something far more peaceful and connected to the world around us. The ego, however, likes to convince us that it's the most important part of who we are. And so, we spend much of our lives trying to protect this false sense of self. We chase after success, recognition, and approval, thinking these will make us happy. But have you ever noticed that even when you get these things, the happiness is temporary? The ego always wants more. One of the most powerful teachings in Buddhism is the idea of no self, or anatta. This doesn't mean that we don't exist. It means that the self we think we are, the ego, is an illusion. When we stop clinging to this false sense of self, we experience a kind of freedom that is hard to describe in words. It's like setting down a heavy burden you didn't even know you were carrying. So how do we overcome the ego? The first step is awareness. We must begin to notice when the ego is driving our actions and thoughts. This can be tricky because the ego is sneaky. It hides in the background of our mind, influencing us without us realizing it. But with mindfulness, we can start to catch it. The next time you feel offended by someone's words, or you're craving attention or recognition, pause and ask yourself, is this the ego talking? Often, just noticing it is enough to loosen its grip. Another way to overcome the ego is through humility. Humility doesn't mean thinking less of yourself. It means thinking of yourself less. It's about recognizing that we are all interconnected, that no one is truly separate from anyone else. The ego makes us feel isolated, like we're in competition with the rest of the world. But in reality, we're all part of the same fabric of existence. When we understand this, the need to be better than others, or to prove ourselves, starts to fade away. Let me share a simple story with you. There was once a monk who had spent many years meditating in the mountains. He was known for his wisdom and peace of mind. One day, a young man came to him and asked, "Master, how do I become like you? How do I get rid of my ego?" The monk smiled and said, "I am not wise or special. I am just like you. The only difference is, I no longer believe everything my ego tells me." This is a key point. Overcoming the ego doesn't mean destroying it or getting rid of it entirely. The ego will always be there in some form. What matters is that we stop believing its stories. We stop letting it control our actions and our sense of self-worth. Another important practice in overcoming the ego is compassion. The ego thrives on separation. It makes us feel like we are different, better, or worse than others. But when we practice compassion, we break down these barriers. We start to see that everyone is struggling in their own way, just like us. When we stop judging others and instead approach them with kindness, the ego loses its power. We realize that we don't need to compete or compare. We are all on this journey together. Meditation is another powerful tool in dissolving the ego. When we meditate, we learn to observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them. The ego loves to latch onto thoughts. It loves to say, "This is my thought. This is my opinion. This is my problem." But through meditation, we see that thoughts are just thoughts. They come and go like clouds in the sky. We don't have to identify with them. We don't have to let them define who we are. One of the things that keeps the ego alive is the need for control. The ego wants to control everything. Our surroundings, our relationships, even the future. But control is an illusion. Life is constantly changing, and we can't control most of what happens around us. Buddhism teaches us to let go of this need for control and to accept life as it is, with all its ups and downs. When we stop trying to control everything, we can relax and enjoy the present moment. This doesn't mean that we stop caring or that we become passive. It simply means that we stop fighting against the natural flow of life. Another important aspect of overcoming the ego is letting go of attachment. The ego loves to attach itself to things, our possessions, our achievements, our relationships. But attachment always leads to suffering. Why? Because everything in life is impermanent. The things we cling to will eventually change or disappear. And when they do, the ego feels lost and hurt. Buddhism teaches us to enjoy life's experiences without becoming attached to them. When we let go of attachment, we can experience true freedom and happiness. In the end, overcoming the ego is not something that happens overnight. It's a lifelong practice, one that requires patience and kindness toward ourselves. But every small step we take in this direction brings us closer to inner peace and joy. Remember, the ego is not who you truly are. You are much more than that. You are connected to the whole universe, and your worth does not depend on what others think of you or how much you achieve. When you let go of the ego, you find the beauty and simplicity of just being. As we move forward on this journey of self-discovery, keep these teachings in mind. The ego will always try to make everything about me and mine, but you have the power to see through it. You have the power to focus on what really matters: your inner peace, your connection to others, and your own personal growth. In Buddhism, the ultimate goal is to go beyond the ego, to reach a state of enlightenment where the self no longer feels separate from the world. While this may seem like a distant goal, Every step we take in overcoming the ego brings us closer to that state of freedom and bliss. So, take it one day at a time. Practice mindfulness, compassion, and humility. And remember, you are much more than your ego. There is a vast, peaceful self within you, waiting to be discovered. Self-compassion and personal growth. In the gentle embrace of Buddhism, we learn about self-compassion and how it can lead us to personal growth. So, what does self-compassion really mean? At its core, self-compassion is treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer to a close friend. It is a nurturing approach to our flaws and failures, recognizing that everyone struggles and makes mistakes. Imagine you are walking along a path and stumble. What do? If you are like most people, you might feel embarrassed and berate yourself. But what if you paused instead? What if, instead of self-criticism, you said to yourself, "It's okay. Everyone trips sometimes." This shift in perspective can make all the difference. Just as we would comfort a friend who has fallen, we can extend that same comfort to ourselves. In our fast-paced lives, we often focus on external achievements, our careers, relationships, and how we appear to others. Yet, amid this hustle, we can forget the importance of looking inward. When we cultivate self-compassion, we acknowledge our struggles without judgment. This acknowledgement allows us to grow and learn from our experiences. Buddhism teaches us that suffering is a part of life. We all experience pain, disappointment, and loss. Instead of shying away from these feelings, self-compassion encourages us to face them head-on. It's like holding a mirror to our soul and recognizing that our imperfections do not define us. They are simply part of our human experience. By embracing our vulnerabilities, we create space for healing and personal growth. Self-compassion also involves forgiving ourselves. It is easy to dwell on past mistakes and beat ourselves up over choices we wish we had made differently. But clinging to guilt or shame only weighs us down. By practicing forgiveness, we let go of the burdens that hinder our growth. We learn to accept that we are not perfect, and that's okay. Just as a flower grows towards the sun despite its flaws, we too can flourish when we embrace our imperfections. Another important aspect of self-compassion is mindfulness. Being mindful means being present in the moment without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we can observe our thoughts and feelings without getting lost in them. This awareness allows us to recognize when we are being hard on ourselves. When we notice these moments, we can pause and choose a kinder response. Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," we can say, "I am doing my best, and that is enough." Self-compassion also helps us connect with others. When we are kind to ourselves, we can extend that kindness to those around us. It creates a ripple effect of compassion that can change our relationships and communities. When we treat ourselves with love and understanding, we are more likely to offer the same to others. This fosters deeper connections and encourages a culture of support rather than competition. It's important to remember that self-compassion is not about being complacent or making excuses for our actions. It's about holding ourselves accountable while being gentle. We can strive for improvement without harsh criticism. Instead of saying, "I failed, and I am a failure," we can reframe it to, "I made a mistake, but I can learn from this." This mindset encourages growth and resilience. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you are trying to learn a new skill, perhaps painting. You might start off feeling excited, but as you begin, you realize it's more challenging than you expected. Maybe your first attempts don't turn out as you envisioned. Instead of giving up or criticizing your efforts, practice self-compassion. Acknowledge your feelings of frustration, but also remind yourself that learning takes time. Every artist starts as a beginner. With practice and patience, you will improve. Celebrate your small victories along the way, no matter how minor they may seem. In our journey of self-compassion, it is also essential to set healthy boundaries. Sometimes, we can be overly critical of ourselves, pushing ourselves to meet unrealistic expectations. By recognizing our limits and respecting them, we cultivate a nurturing environment for personal growth. This may mean saying no to additional responsibilities or allowing ourselves time to rest and recharge. Self-compassion is a practice, not a one-time event. It requires patience and commitment. Just as we develop a muscle through consistent exercise, we can strengthen our self-compassion by integrating it into our daily lives. Start by incorporating simple affirmations into your routine. Each morning, remind yourself that you are worthy of love and kindness. When negative thoughts arise, gently challenge them with positive affirmations. Lastly, surround yourself with supportive influences. Engage with those who uplift you and inspire you to grow. Share your journey with them and allow them to share theirs. Building a community of compassion can reinforce your practice and remind you that you are not alone on this path. In conclusion, self-compassion is a vital aspect of personal growth in the Buddhist journey. By treating ourselves with kindness, forgiving our mistakes, and embracing our humanity, we create a fertile ground for growth. When we practice self-compassion, we not only transform our own lives, but also contribute to a kinder and more understanding world. Remember, the journey inward is as important as any achievement you might pursue. Embrace it with an open heart and watch as your life begins to bloom. The power of inner peace and balance. In our fast-paced world, where everything seems to demand our attention, the concept of inner peace can feel distant. Yet, finding balance within ourselves is essential for true happiness. Inner peace is not just a fleeting moment of calm. It is a state of being that we can cultivate through mindfulness and awareness. Imagine a calm lake. On the surface, the water is still and clear, reflecting the sky above. But beneath the surface, the water can be turbulent. Similarly, our minds may seem peaceful on the outside, while internally, we can be overwhelmed with thoughts and emotions. The practice of nurturing inner peace is about harmonizing what is happening both within and around us. Buddhism teaches us that the mind is like a garden. If we allow weeds, negative thoughts and distractions, to grow, they will choke out the flowers of peace and happiness. To create a beautiful garden, we must cultivate our minds with care, pulling out the weeds and nurturing the flowers that promote growth. This requires us to be mindful of our thoughts, allowing only those that serve us well to take root. To begin this journey, start by setting aside time each day to connect with yourself. Find a quiet space where you can sit comfortably. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and simply observe your thoughts. Don't judge them or try to change them, just notice what comes to mind. This practice helps you become aware of the noise that fills your mind and allows you to separate yourself from it. Over time, you'll notice that the thoughts that once seemed overwhelming can become less intrusive. Another powerful tool for achieving inner peace is meditation. Many people believe meditation is about emptying the mind, but it's more about creating a space where you can observe your thoughts without attachment. When you meditate, you can visualize your thoughts as clouds passing by in the sky. You don't have to chase them or hold on to them, just let them float away. This simple practice can help you cultivate a sense of tranquility that permeates your daily life. In addition to meditation, consider the impact of your environment on your inner peace. A cluttered space can lead to a cluttered mind. Take a moment to declutter your surroundings, creating a peaceful space that invites calmness. Surrounding yourself with nature can also enhance your sense of balance. A walk in the park or time spent in your garden can remind you of the beauty and simplicity. Nature has a unique way of grounding us and bringing us back to the present moment. It's also important to remember that inner peace is not about avoiding challenges or difficult emotions. Instead, it's about learning how to respond to them. Life will always present obstacles, but how we handle these situations defines our inner landscape. When faced with difficulty, take a step back and breathe. Allow yourself to feel the emotions without judgment. By acknowledging your feelings, you create space for healing and understanding. Practicing gratitude is another powerful way to enhance your inner peace. Each day, take a moment to reflect on what you are thankful for. This simple act shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. Gratitude cultivates a positive mindset and allows you to appreciate the present moment, which is vital for maintaining balance in your life. As you journey toward inner peace, be gentle with yourself. Understand that finding balance is an ongoing process. There will be days when achieving tranquility feels impossible, and that's perfectly okay. The key is to return to your practices, mindfulness, meditation, gratitude, and allow them to guide you back to that place of calm. Sharing your journey with others can also foster inner peace. Engage in meaningful conversations with friends or family about your experiences. Sharing your thoughts and feelings can create connections that bring comfort and understanding. You may find that others are on similar journeys, and together, you can support each other in cultivating peace. Finally, remember that inner peace is not a destination but a way of living. It's about embracing the present moment, finding joy in the little things, and recognizing that life is a balance of ups and downs. Each day is an opportunity to practice and deepen your sense of peace. By focusing on nurturing your inner landscape, you can navigate the world around you with a calm and balanced heart. As you continue on this path, let the power of inner peace guide your actions and choices. Allow it to fill your life with harmony, enabling you to respond to challenges with grace. Embrace your journey, knowing that each step you take brings you closer to the tranquility and balance you seek. In the end, it is this inner peace that will illuminate your path and enrich your life beyond measure. Letting go of judgment and criticism. In our lives, judgment and criticism often act as heavy burdens we carry, weighing us down and clouding our inner peace. Every day, we encounter various opinions about ourselves and others, which can create confusion and stress. But what if we could learn to let go of these judgments? What if we could see ourselves and others without the filter of criticism? Judgment is a natural part of being human. We form opinions based on our experiences, beliefs, and societal norms. However, when we allow these judgments to control our thoughts, we often lose sight of the beauty in ourselves and those around us. Imagine looking at a beautiful flower. If we only focus on its flaws, the wilting petals or uneven shape, we miss the essence of its beauty. Similarly, when we judge ourselves or others, we overlook the qualities that make us unique and valuable. Let's take a moment to reflect. Have you ever been critical of yourself? Perhaps you've looked in the mirror and pointed out every little flaw, telling yourself that you are not good enough. This kind of self-talk is damaging. It prevents us from recognizing our strengths and appreciating who we are. Buddhism teaches us that we must be gentle with ourselves, just as we would be with a friend. When we stop criticizing ourselves, we create space for self-acceptance and love. The same goes for how we view others. When we judge someone based on their actions or appearance, we create a barrier between us. This judgment fosters negativity and misunderstanding. Instead, we can choose to approach others with kindness and compassion. Instead of saying, "I don't like how they act," we can ask ourselves, "What might they be going through?" This shift in perspective allows us to connect more deeply with others and opens our hearts to empathy. Letting go of judgment also involves accepting that we are all imperfect beings. Every person carries their struggles and pain. In Buddhism, we learn that everyone is on their journey, just like we are. When we recognize that we all face challenges, it becomes easier to be compassionate. Instead of seeing people through a lens of criticism, we can embrace them with understanding. This shift brings us closer to each other and fosters a sense of community. One powerful practice to let go of judgment is mindfulness. When we practice mindfulness, we become aware of our thoughts without attaching to them. If a judgment arises, we can observe it, acknowledge it, and then let it pass. Imagine standing by a river and watching leaves float by. Each leaf represents a judgment. You notice it, but instead of grabbing it, you let it drift away. This practice helps us to cultivate a clearer, calmer mind, free from the clutter of judgment. Another way to release judgment is through gratitude. When we focus on what we appreciate about ourselves and others, we shift our energy from criticism to positivity. Start each day by listing 3 things you are grateful for about yourself. This simple act can change how you view yourself and your abilities. Similarly, when we express gratitude towards others, we foster a sense of connection and community. Instead of focusing on their flaws, we celebrate their unique qualities. Forgiveness is another key element in letting go of judgment. When we hold on to past grievances or judgments about others, we create a cycle of negativity. Forgiveness allows us to release that burden and move forward. It doesn't mean we condone harmful behavior, but it frees us from the weight of resentment. When we forgive ourselves for our perceived flaws and others for their mistakes, we create space for healing and growth. Letting go of judgment is a journey that requires patience and practice. We may not see immediate results, and that's okay. Each time we catch ourselves judging, we have an opportunity to learn and grow. Remember, it's not about being perfect, It's about making progress. Celebrate your efforts to be more compassionate towards yourself and others. In Buddhism, we are reminded of the interconnectedness of all beings. When we let go of judgment, we contribute to a more peaceful world. Our thoughts and actions ripple out, affecting not just ourselves but everyone around us. By embracing acceptance and compassion, we create an environment where love and understanding can flourish. As we continue on this path of self-discovery and mindfulness, let's commit to practicing kindness, both towards ourselves and others. Embrace your imperfections and those of others as opportunities for growth. Let your heart be light, free from the heaviness of judgment. Remember, in this vast universe, we are all learning and evolving together. Let go, and you will find the peace and joy that come from embracing life as it is. Conclusion. Embrace your journey within. As we come to the end of our journey together, let us take a moment to reflect on what we have learned about focusing on ourselves instead of others. Each lesson we explored was like a stepping stone on the path of self-discovery. And now, it is time to embrace the wisdom we have gathered. Throughout our discussions, we uncovered the essence of self-awareness. It is a powerful tool that allows us to understand who we are beneath the layers of societal expectations and judgments. When we know ourselves, we can better navigate the world around us. Remember, every time you pause to check in with your thoughts and feelings, you are cultivating a deeper connection with your true self. We also spoke about the importance of letting go of comparisons. The truth is, each of us is on our unique journey. Like a flower blooming in its own time, we each have our own pace and path. When we stop comparing ourselves to others, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and disappointment. Instead, we can celebrate our individual growth and achievements. Let's not forget about mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to appreciate the present moment. We realize that life is happening now, not in the past or future. When you focus on what you are doing right now, whether it's savoring a meal or enjoying a conversation, you cultivate gratitude for the simple joys of life. This practice helps us stay grounded, and it brings a sense of calm amidst the chaos. As we've explored the concept of self-compassion, remember that being kind to yourself is crucial. Life can be challenging, and we all make mistakes. Instead of being hard on yourself, treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. When you practice self-compassion, you allow space for growth. You become more resilient, ready to face the challenges life throws your way. Now, let's consider authenticity. Living authentically means being true to yourself. It's about aligning your actions with your values. When you live authentically, you create a sense of inner peace that radiates outward. You inspire others to embrace their own uniqueness. So, don't be afraid to shine your light brightly. The world needs your true self. In this fast-paced world, it is easy to lose sight of our own needs and desires. But remember, you are the author of your own story. Take charge of your narrative and write it with intention. Allow yourself the freedom to pursue your passions, dreams, and goals without feeling guilty about it. Your journey is valid, and your aspirations matter. As we wrap up, I encourage you to carry these lessons with you. Focus on your journey, your growth, and your happiness. Surround yourself with positivity and support, and let go of negativity that doesn't serve you. Remember, the more you focus on yourself, the more you can contribute to the world around you. A fulfilled individual brings joy and positivity to others. Thank you for joining me on this enlightening journey. I hope the insights shared have sparked a desire for inner exploration and self-discovery. Your journey within is just beginning, and there's so much beauty to uncover. As we conclude, I invite you to share your thoughts and experiences. Let us create a community of support and understanding where we uplift one another. And don't forget to take a moment for yourself each day. Embrace the stillness, listen to your heart, and let your true self shine. Finally, if you enjoyed this journey, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Your support helps us continue spreading these valuable insights, and together, we can inspire others on their path to self-discovery. Thank you for being a part of this beautiful experience.